Imagine a house where timeless music meets timeless design. In the sun-soaked desert of Palm Springs, American singer-songwriter and record producer Barry Manilow strolls through the gates of 2196 Es Camino Barranca, Palm Springs, CA, palms swaying around his sprawling retreat like notes in a melody. Then he steps into his former Mediterranean villa at 8233 Roxbury Road, West Hollywood, CA 969, where the glow of the Sunset Strip once danced through his balcony nights. He turns the key at 786 Toratuso Way, Bel Air, Los Angeles, CA, a home whose grand halls echoed with late-night piano rehearsals and the birth of unforgettable songs. From there, he drifts to his serene beachfront hideaway at 24146 Malibu RD, Malibu, CA 90265, where ocean waves play in harmony with his melodies. Finally, he pauses above the neon skyline at Park Towers, Las Vegas, NV, a city condo that mirrors the sparkle of his legendary showbiz life. Barry Manilow's lifestyle blends luxury and performance, a world of elegance, rare cars, and private jet travel, the secret rhythm of a music icon who turned success into artful living. Born Barry Allen Pincus on June 17, 1943, in Brooklyn, New York, he grew up in a modest Jewish household with big dreams and a piano that would become his destiny. His parents separated when he was very young, and Barry was raised primarily by his mother, Edna Manilow, and his grandparents. As a child, he was quiet but deeply fascinated by the rhythms of the radio, the harmony of Broadway musicals, and the emotional depth of jazz. Growing up in Brooklyn, Barry attended the Eastern District High School and later went on to study at the City College of New York before transferring to the New York College of Music. There, he sharpened his musical skills and developed an understanding of composition, arrangement, and production that would one day set him apart from his peers. His early life was not filled with luxury but with passion. He worked small jobs to pay for music lessons, and at night, he would sit at his piano dreaming of one day performing in front of millions. In the early 1960s, Barry's talent started attracting attention in the New York music scene. He became known as a skilled arranger and pianist, working behind the scenes for commercial jingles and television. Before fame came knocking, he composed catchy jingles for brands like Band-Aid and State Farm Insurance, the ones that Americans still remember decades later. This work sharpened his ability to write hooks that stuck in people's heads, a skill that would make him one of the best pop balladeers in history. Barry's big break came in 1971 when he met Bette Midler, then an up-and-coming singer performing at the Continental Baths. Barry became her pianist, musical director, and producer, helping shape her sound and rise to fame. This partnership earned him industry credibility and allowed him to connect with powerful names in show business. By 1973, Barry released his self-titled debut album, Barry Manilow, but it was his second album, Barry Manilow II, in 1974 that catapulted him into the mainstream, featuring the song that changed his life forever, Mandy. The song hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and turned Barry into a household name overnight. The emotional tone, powerful lyrics, and his signature delivery made Mandy one of the greatest ballads of all time. With that success, the era of Barry Manilow had begun. The following years saw hit after hit. Copacabana, Can't Smile Without You, Looks Like We Made It, and Could It Be Magic? Each song carried his trademark theatrical touch, blending pop with a cinematic flair. His concerts were not just performances. They were experiences filled with light, drama, and heartfelt storytelling. By the late 1970s, Barry had become one of the highest-paid performers in America, with sold-out tours across the world and multi-platinum records stacking up one after another. He was no longer that boy from Brooklyn. He was a global star. Despite the immense luxury surrounding him, Barry remained one of the most disciplined entertainers in Hollywood. He avoided excessive partying, alcohol, and extravagance. His mornings began early with a workout, vocal exercises, and time at the piano. He believed consistency was key to longevity. Even at over 80 years old, his energy during live shows amazed both fans and critics. While many artists his age retired, Barry continued to perform, supported by Gary Keefe's expert management and a loyal touring team that had been with him for decades. Financial analysts estimated Barry's total net worth to exceed $120 million, derived from music royalties, publishing rights, real estate, and touring income. A detailed estimate placed about $50 million from touring and residencies, $30 million from royalties and licensing, $20 million from real estate equity, $10 million from art memorabilia and investments, and an additional $10 million in cash and securities. This fortune made him one of the wealthiest singer-songwriters of the 20th century, still performing actively in the 21st. As fame grew, so did his wealth. Barry started investing in real estate, first purchasing a luxury apartment in Palm Springs, 2196 S. Camino Barranca, Palm Springs, CA 92264. According to Zillow, the property was estimated at $9 million. Multiple sources cite this as his desert home in the Palm Springs area. One listing shows 13 bedrooms, 18 bathrooms, 19,700 square feet interior on 62 acres, though unclear if all that reflects Manilow's period. The Palm Springs Life magazine article notes the house was crisp, minimal, modern design with azure pool, patio, and environment that Manilow called "This is Palm Springs" when photographed in 2012. One blog mentions the home is set behind large gates, trees, and has limited external view, indicating a high level of privacy. Next, West Hollywood, 8233 Roxbury Road, home. $3.5 million for Bella Villa Sul Monte, about 9.7 years ago when it was a former Manilow property. 5,400 square feet, built 1925, 3 stories, 4 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. Features: stucco cloak, Juliet balconies like silent watchers over city lights, fire hearth at center, wood plank floor stretching out like a stage, formal, eco-friendly, where voices travel. Breakfast daylight through windows, minor daily rituals, outdoor terrace and pool, slate deck, waterfall lapping the basin, a courtyard that breathes dusk and party alike. Master suite, perched commanding view, its own sitting room for private retreat. He also owned Malibu Beach House, 2446 Malibu Ard. Malibu, CA 90265. It was listed at $10,375 million in 2019. A listing shows just sold at $13 million. Notable features: the home was built in 1976 and is 4,320 square feet with 5 bedrooms, 4.5 bathrooms. It features entry with self-feeding fish tank, office media room, detached guest house with full kitchen across a walled garden, outdoor kitchen dining area, jacuzzi, hot tub, hot outdoor shower, floor-to-ceiling 2-story glass walls opening to ocean views, 180-degree views of Santa Monica Bay from Point Dume to Palos Verdes. More detail: the foyer with saltwater aquarium, chef's kitchen with 2 islands, sunken living room, master suite on top floor with fireplace and private balcony. This is the most detailed of the 3 homes in terms of interior feature reporting. Barry's car collection reflected his classic personality and refined style rather than extravagance. He owned a Bentley Continental GT, valued around $230,000, and a Mercedes-Benz S-Class, known for its comfort and performance, costing around $120,000. He also had a vintage Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow, a car he bought in the 1980s as a celebration of his career milestone, a symbol of timeless elegance. His collection of cars and vehicles adds another $2 million, while art, jewelry, and memorabilia collections contribute around $5 million. The rest comes from liquid assets, touring revenue, and business holdings under Manilow Enterprises. Yet to Barry, wealth has never been about luxury. It has always been about stability, generosity, and the freedom to create without pressure. When it came to travel, Barry preferred efficiency and comfort. He owned a private Gulfstream G200 jet, valued at around $22 million, which allowed him to tour across continents without the exhaustion of commercial flights. The jet's interior featured custom leather seating, mahogany woodwork, and a built-in entertainment system where Barry often reviewed concert footage or composed new music mid-air. Occasionally, he also used private helicopter charters to move between Los Angeles and Palm Springs, a luxury service estimated at $3,000 per hour. Despite his immense wealth, Barry was never one to flaunt it. His financial empire, valued at approximately $100 million, was built through smart investments, record royalties, and decades of sold-out tours. He became one of the best-selling artists of all time, with over 85 million records sold globally. His success was not accidental. It was the product of relentless perfectionism, talent, and devotion to the craft. But while his career was dazzling, his personal life remained largely under wraps. For many years, Barry kept his private relationships out of the public eye. The media often speculated about his romantic life, but Barry stayed focused on his work. Eventually, it was revealed that Barry had married his longtime manager and partner, Gary Keefe, in a private ceremony in 2014. The marriage was a reflection of deep loyalty and trust, built over decades of companionship. They lived together between their California homes, sharing a life that balanced business and affection. Barry and Gary have no children, but they built a quiet, private life surrounded by close friends and music industry colleagues. Barry Manilow has one stepdaughter, Kirsten Keefe, whom he raised with his husband, Gary Keefe. He is also a grandfather, as Kirsten adopted a daughter in 2023. Manilow does not have any biological children of his own from his first marriage or any other relationships. Barry's dedication to his art often took the place of family life, but he has often described music itself as his lifelong companion. The connection between Barry and his fans remained unbreakable. Millions saw him not just as an artist, but as a storyteller who gave voice to emotion. Before his relationship with Gary, which dates back to the late 70s, he married his high school sweetheart, Susan Deichsler. The couple were only married from 1964 to 1966, when they had their marriage annulled. Awards and accolades came pouring in over the years. He earned Grammy Awards, American Music Awards, and a special Tony Award for his Broadway contributions. His Las Vegas residencies became legendary, drawing packed audiences year after year. Barry's contribution to pop culture was monumental, not only for his melodies, but for his ability to connect with human emotion through sound. From the quiet streets of Brooklyn to mansions in California, from jingles on TV to songs that defined love and loss, Barry Manilow's journey reflects the true American dream. Talent, perseverance, and heart combined into one timeless legacy. As the 1980s began, Barry Manilow stood at the top of the music world, a living symbol of elegance, romance, and showmanship. His concerts had turned into global phenomena, selling out arenas from Los Angeles to London and Tokyo to Toronto. By the mid-1980s, Barry was earning nearly $10 million a year from album royalties and live performances alone, an extraordinary amount for that era. He had officially become one of the richest musicians in the world. He also ventured into television and film, producing specials like The Barry Manilow Special, which earned him Emmy Awards and cemented his reputation as a multi-talented entertainer who could captivate both live audiences and TV viewers alike. Performing at the Las Vegas Hilton and later the Westgate, he entertained fans with timeless hits and emotional storytelling that reminded everyone why he was one of the best live performers of his generation. These residencies brought him an estimated $30 million per year during their peak, further expanding his net worth and allowing him to continue investing in real estate, art, and philanthropy. In later years, Barry's collection of art and musical memorabilia became famous. He owned original sheet music by composers like George Gershwin and Cole Porter, antique gramophones, and even rare-signed vinyl from legends like Frank Sinatra and Judy Garland, pieces collectively valued at several $1 million. His recording studio remained his favorite space, equipped with state-of-the-art software, analog consoles, and custom-built microphones that allowed him to maintain his signature sound. Even in his 70s, Barry continued touring, performing to packed venues around the world. Financial analysts often cited Barry Manilow as an example of smart wealth management in the entertainment industry. Unlike many celebrities, he avoided reckless spending and maintained diversified investments, including real estate, publishing rights, and royalties. It was reported that Barry continued to earn more than $10 million annually from royalties alone, thanks to timeless hits still played on radio stations worldwide and used in films, TV shows, and commercials. Even streaming platforms introduced a new generation of listeners to his work, with millions of monthly plays. Beyond money and fame, Barry's impact lay in the emotion he brought to music. As the new millennium unfolded, Barry Manilow's place in the music industry was already secured. Yet he continued to reinvent himself with the same energy that had driven his career since the 1970s. The world had changed. Digital music had replaced vinyl. Social media had redefined fame. But Barry remained timeless, bridging the generations through melody, sincerity, and stage mastery. His voice, though matured, still carried the warmth and control that had made millions fall in love decades earlier. In the 2000s and 2010s, Barry's albums The Greatest Songs of the 50s, The Greatest Songs of the 60s, and The Greatest Songs of the 70s reintroduced classic tunes to modern audiences and became commercial triumphs, selling millions of copies globally. These tribute projects generated an estimated $40 million in combined revenue and proved that nostalgia, when handled with authenticity, could still conquer charts. Barry's return to touring in those years brought with it an entirely new level of luxury. His live shows were no longer just concerts. They were multimedia experiences blending LED visuals, live orchestras, and cinematic backdrops. The production budget sometimes exceeded $3 million per tour, and ticket sales covered that within hours of release. Barry's touring income during the 2010s averaged around $20 million per year, solidifying his position among the wealthiest veteran performers in the United States. He maintained a relentless work ethic, personally reviewing every arrangement, lighting cue, and costume design. His perfectionism had become legendary within the industry. When younger artists met Barry backstage, they often described him as gracious yet exacting, a master who understood every nuance of entertainment. Barry's lifestyle also extended to subtle luxuries and vintage wine, collections stored in climate-controlled cellars, rare pianos including a Steinway Model D concert grand valued at over $200,000, and an impressive library of over 10,000 vinyl records from around the world. Music wasn't just his profession. It was the air he breathed, filling every corner of his homes. Awards continue to honor him. Lifetime achievement recognitions from organizations like the Grammy Foundation, Songwriters Hall of Fame, and American Music Awards keep reaffirming his place among the greats. In recent years, he's also been honored with humanitarian awards for his charitable efforts. His star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame gleams brighter than ever, a symbol of a journey that began with a dream and ended with immortality. Barry's legacy is not confined to records or concerts. It's written in human stories. Couples who met at his shows, families who bonded over his songs, individuals who found hope through his lyrics, these are the true measurements of his greatness. He gave a soundtrack to love itself. When people hear Can't Smile Without You or Copacabana, they don't just remember a song. They remember moments, laughter, and time spent with loved ones. His music became the emotional diary of millions. As he steps back from the spotlight gradually, Barry Manilow's focus turns toward legacy preservation. His archives, containing thousands of hours of footage, handwritten lyrics, and unreleased compositions, are being digitally restored for future generations. Plans are in motion for a museum and foundation dedicated to his life's work, a cultural tribute to an artist whose melodies defined the emotional soundscape of an era. Barry's story proves that true greatness comes from authenticity. From a poor kid in Brooklyn to a global superstar living among the stars of Beverly Hills and Palm Springs, he achieved everything through talent, integrity, and love for his craft. His wealth, his houses, his cars, his private jets, they are symbols of success. But the real treasure lies in the millions of hearts he's touched. And as the lights dim after each show, when the applause fades and silence fills the air, Barry often sits quietly at his piano, fingers gliding across the keys as he plays one last melody for himself. Not for fame, not for money, but for love. Because for Barry Manilow, Music has always been the truest form of living, and that's the story of Barry Manilow, the voice of romance, the architect of melody, and the living proof that passion never fades. From Brooklyn rooftops to private jets, from recording studios to arenas filled with tears and applause, he remains a legend whose music will outlast time itself. Barry Manilow didn't just write the songs. He was the song